Alright, welcome back to the channel. I got an inspirational quote today. I'm going to start bringing a little more positivity to the channel. And the quote is going to be, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step." Alright, let's like the video, subscribe. Thank you so much for all your comments in the past, and let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a list from 2020, and it's going to rank the top 10 players from the National League East. I was just thinking about how things have changed in the last couple of years, and this is going to be a good example of what has changed. So as we get into the list, we're going to go with the 10th ranked player from 2020. Who could that be? And it's actually going to be from the Atlanta Braves, Ozzie Albies. He's going to be ranked number 10 in 2020. Moving on. The 9th ranked player, and this is actually pretty interesting. We have Mike Soroka, promising young pitcher. He's had a lot of injuries in the last couple of years, but in 2019, Mike Soroka pitched 175 innings, 13-4 record, 2.6 earner on average. That is crazy. So back in 2020, he was going into that season, he was the 9th player in the National League East. Number 8, Big Pete Alonso. So as we know, in 2019, Pete Alonso was coming off of 53 home runs. So going into 2020, he was pretty high up. They had him ranked at number 8. All right, number 7, and this is Bryce Harper. We have him on the Philadelphia Phillies this year. And Bryce Harper, he's always one of the top players in the National League East, so it's no surprise that he is number 7. And I'm actually wondering why he's not higher, but let us get into that and find out who is ranked above him. All right. Oh wow, this is actually kind of like shocking how things have changed. The number 6 ranked person from 2020 in the National League East is Steven Strasburg. Wow. Okay, but you know what? In 2019, Steven Strasburg placed 15th in the NL MVP and 5th in the NL Cy Young. So going into 2020, he was actually one of the higher ranked people. And again, he was on the Nationals. And number 5 actually shows you how good the Nationals were. They had another pitcher, and we all know this, Max Scherzer. No surprise there. So in 2019, Scherzer had another one of his dominant performances. He pitched 172 innings. He had pitched to a 2.92 earner and average, and again had another Scherzer-like season. Okay, moving on to number 4. We have Juan Soto. So right then and there, we have 3 Nationals in a row. And Juan Soto was, a dominant player. He played really well in 2019. That had to be like his first year. He had 34 home runs. He batted .282, 32 doubles, 5 triples, had a .548 slugging percentage, had 108 walks. So Juan Soto going into the 2020 season was number 4. All right, moving on. Number 3, we have Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves. So at this time, Freddie Freeman was easily the top National League first baseman, at least in the National League East. Freddie Freeman at this time was a 4-time All-Star, and it was also a previous Gold Glove and Silver Slugger award winner for the first base position. Okay, so Freddie Freeman in 2019, here we go. He had a 295 average, 389 on base, 549 slugging, and a 938 OPS with 87 walks, 38 home runs, 34 doubles, 2 triples, 121 runs batted in. Oh my God, Freddie Freeman was a beast in 2019. Okay, moving on to number 2. We have Ronald Acuna. And this is when Ronald Acuna was just coming on. He was one of the National League East brightest young stars. Ronald Acuna in 2019, he batted 280, OPS of 883. For most of the season here, it says he batted over 300. He managed to drive in over 100 RBIs, had 127 runs scored. 1 year after winning the Rookie of the Year for the NL, Acuna followed up by clinching an also spot, Silver Slugger, and finished 5th in the MVP race. So Ronald Acuna was the number 2 player in the National League East in 2020. Okay. And number 1, no surprise, the number 1 player in the National League East in 2020, Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom. He was a great pitcher. Okay, so the best player in the National League East, they're saying in 2020 was Jacob deGrom. The Mets pitcher was coming off 2 consecutive seasons in which he has won the NL Cy Young. Okay, so this is when he was coming off 2 consecutive NL Cy Young awards. So it's no surprise why he was ranked number 1, the number 1 player in the National League East. So deGrom finished with an ERA of 170 in 2018, 243 in 2019. He was a strikeout machine. So, okay, this is what I wanted to actually kind of show. How things have changed. I'm right here that jumps out right off the bat is there's 3 Nationals on this list. 3 Nationals. And Bryce Harper just left the Nationals. But, right now I'm going to actually jump ahead to 2023. And I'm going to rank or actually see the top 20 players for the National League East. And where I get this list, just so you know, it's actually a consensus list from Yahoo, ESPN, and CBS. So those 3 sites, this is a consensus. We have the top 20. Okay, I know I'm having trouble saying that word. We have the top 20 players. So I'm actually going to go with the 20th ranked player going into the 2023 season. And I just want you Philly fans to actually have a little heads up. There's a big player missing on this list, but there's a good reason why. All right, so the 20th ranked person from going into the 2023 season is going to be none other than probably the best lefty in the division, and that is going to be Max Fried. So he's the 20th ranked person on this list. And I'm looking at this list, and there's a lot of talent in the National League East, a lot of talent. All of these players are all-star, Cy Young Award winners, MVPs. So there's a lot of talent on this list. So right off the bat, Braves fan, I'm like, if I'm a Braves fan, I'm like, Max Fried is 20th on your list. That is insane. But you know what? We have a lot of talent on this list. I know. Okay, so moving on, they had Starling Marte ranked as number 19. That I actually would kind of, right then and there, I actually would put Max Fried ahead of Starling Marte based on age and potential. Max Fried is a lot younger. He's got a lot more potential. He did phenomenal last year. So that I actually see a little problem, but he's ranked number 19. So number 18, we have probably the best catcher in the National League East by far. We have JT Realmuto. We know what type of player he is, what he brings to our ball club. JT Realmuto, he's no surprise that he's number 18 on this list. I think that he did a lot last year, helping the Phillies get to the World Series. He's done a lot with the pitching staff. I mean, he's just all around, defense, offense. I mean, I wish he was on the Mets. The biggest mistake they made a couple years ago was getting McCann over Realmuto. Very, very silly. You should have invested just like the Phillies did. Phillies did a great job picking a great guy. All right, moving on. Number 17, Ozzie Albies, the man who took $35 million, got ripped off. One of those most talented people in the NL East, Ozzie Albies. We have him ranked as number 17. And one of his, I don't want to say co-workers, but a guy on the Marlins who plays the same position, we have Jazz Chisholm Jr., and I kind of like Jazz now. He actually, smoked deGrom on a couple occasions. So Jazz Chisholm Jr., we have him at number 16. Moving on. Number 15. Who do you think we got? We got Zack Wheeler. And Zack, I feel he should be a little higher than 15 in the NL East. But again, we got a lot of talent. Zack's done, that's actually a phenomenal contract. Again, I got to give props to Philly. They've been doing a great job signing free agents. Zack Wheeler is another steal in my opinion. And 11, 12, 13, 14. Actually, he's actually ranked number 14. 14. So, you know what? I messed up this list. I apologize. Max Scherzer, we're moving on. He's ranked number 13 on the list. And Max Scherzer, no surprise there. One of the most dominant pitchers in the last generation. And no surprise that he is ranked number 13. We'll move on. We have Matt Olson ranked number 12. So you're going to notice that we have a lot of Braves on this list. Matt Olson came last year to the Braves. He didn't do as good as I thought he was going to do, but he didn't do that bad either. He was a solid fit. The Braves signed him to a nice contract, so they got a lot of good value there. He's a powerful left-handed hitter, and I think that he's only going to get better as he gets a little more comfortable in Atlanta. So number 11, we have a newcomer to the NL East, and we have the former Cy Young Award winner, Justin Verlander, just outside the top 10, and we know it's just because of his age, because last year his performance was dominant. All right, number 10, we're going into the top 10, so NL East top 10 players, here we go. And number 10, we're going to have Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola is going to be the 10th best player in the NL East. He's done really well in the last couple of years. The guy's always had a lot of potential, and going forward, we predict good things for him. According to MLB, Yahoo, CBS, they have him as number 10th on the list. Number 9, we have. I think he's going to be a phenom. I think he already has proven a lot. It's his first rookie year. We have the sensation Spencer Strider. Congratulations to him. He signed a 6-year, $75 million contract. Another great contract by the Braves. They always lock up their guys. Got to give him credit for that. All right, so he comes in at number 9. Number 8, another Atlanta Brave, another young talented player, Michael Harris, coming in at number 8. So props to the Braves. I mean, they're developing a lot of young players, a lot of talented players. They're able to pay these guys early, keep them long term, and Michael Harris is going to be there for a very long time. He's right now the 8th ranked player going into 2023. Number 7 on the list, we have Francisco Lindor, and I know there's been a lot of haters out there. Francisco, he came into New York a couple years ago, played well under what we were expecting, but the last year and a half, the guy's been a defensive Gold Glove player, switch hitting shortstop. He's a high WAR player. He's bringing a lot more to the table. He had over 100 RBIs last year, 26 home runs. So the pop's there. The average got up a bit too as well. Batted about 270 last year. So Francisco Lindor, he ranks as number 7 on the list. Number 6 on the list, we have another Met, Edwin Diaz. And this is without, I haven't seen this in a while. It's been undisputed how Edwin, he's going into the 23 season as the number 1 reliever. It's actually surprising to see a Met on there, but, I got to say, I was expecting Edwin to blow so many games. He blew so many games for us in the past, but I was shocked. He was lights out. You had the music, you had the song, the trumpets. It was actually a sight to see, and Edwin Diaz comes in 6 on the list. Okay, so now we're going to do a top 5, and this top 5 is pretty stacked, and I like all these players. I wish I wish they were all on the Mets, but we're going to go into number 5. Number 5, I think he's a beast. I think he's only getting better. I've been shocked about how dominant he's been. And he's Atlanta Braves third baseman, Austin Riley, and this guy is a monster. He is a monster. And you know what? He's only going to get better with time. But going into the 23 season, he's going to be ranked number 5. Number 4. Number 4, we have the best pitcher right now in the NL East, and there's a lot of good talented pitchers. We've gone through all of them, but this guy's got to be number 1, and he is Miami Marlins starting pitcher Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara last year pitched to 8 WAR. He had a phenomenal season. He carried the Marlins as far as they can go. I mean, they don't have a lot of talent overall on their roster. They do have a pretty decent pitching staff, but Sandy Alcantara was a beast, and I expect him to continue, and I expect a lot of big things coming for him in 2023. Moving on to the top 3. And number 3, we have Pete Alonso. And you know what? I know I am a Met fan. I am very biased. But Pete Alonso's done a lot of great things. And now he's becoming more than just a power hitter. He's getting on base. His averages are beginning to tick up. His RBI is 131 RBIs. You don't get 131 RBIs by just being only power. You got to be able to be a smart, intelligent player. You got to be able to knock runs in. You got to make productive outs. You got to be able to sacrifice, make the sacrifice fly. You got to be able to do things that good hitters do. And just based on him bumping up his RBI, his OPS is always high 800s or low 900s. So, Pete Alonso, I expect good things in 2023. And I'm not surprised that he's number 3 on this list. Okay, number 2, and this is I don't want to say it's a bit of a surprise, but this is one of the most talented players in the NL East, and the number 2 player in the NL East is Trea Turner. He's a newcomer, but he's multi-talented. I mean, the guy, I watched a lot of Dodgers games. I mean, the guy's got a lot of pop for a speedster. And, he's a very smooth base runner. We've seen him steal bases, especially not stealing home, but the way he slides across the plate at home. The guy's a very smooth player. I think he's going to age well. I think Philly, again, they're very good at signing their free agents. They give money out to guys who are going to be very productive. I know Bryce Harper's been hurt, but, when he is there, he's one of the most productive players in the National League East. Zack Wheeler, oh my God, Kyle Schwarber. Phillies know how to spend their money. Braves know how to not spend a lot of money. And, Mets, we're trying to do our best. We're trying to find, guys who fit. So number 2, Trea Turner is number 2 on the list. All right, number 1, and I know there's going to be a lot of dispute, a lot of, discussion about this, because it's not about last year, it's about 2023, and this guy has more talent than probably anybody on this list all around. We're looking at defense, we're looking at offense, we're looking at speed, we're looking at the all-around game, and I'm going to go with Ronald Acuna. I mean, he was very underwhelming the last year, but, he's coming off an ACL injury. People who've had ACL injuries, they know that it takes time. It takes a year and a half from when you've had the injury to get back to where you were. So he's still building strength in that knee. I saw a lot of routes he's taking of balls, and he was clearly flavoring that knee. He wasn't feeling like he did 2-3 years ago. So people who are down on Ronald Acuna, you have to understand it takes time for you to come back from an ACL injury. So he's going to be working all off season, and I think we're going to have the MVP. He's a 40-40 guy. He can bat 300. He can go close to 1,000 OPS. He's a clear MVP, top 2, top 3 player in the entire league when he's healthy. So I'm going to put him at number 1, and also Yahoo, ESPN, and CBS, they have the same belief that I do. So this was my longest video ever. I had a couple mistakes in the middle of the video, so if you actually saw that, I thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate your views. I know there's a lot of good stuff out there to watch, so for you to take the time and watch me, I really appreciate it. If you could please like the video if you found something of value, subscribe. I got a lot of videos coming, and I hope that we can be here all season and that you would be able to join me. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Thank you.